Hey guys, it's Destiny, and today we're going to be showcasing Jiaoqiu alongside Acheron to show you guys this super cool synergy. And before we begin with today's video, let me know in the comments down below one of your favorite video games. And also, if you guys enjoy videos like these, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and now let's just get straight into it. For today's showcase, we're going to be showing off Jiaoqiu alongside Acheron, Pela, and then Gallagher. The synergy between Jiaoqiu and Acheron is pretty crazy, especially if you don't have Acheron's signature Lycone, which I will actually not be using in today's video. We're going to be using Goodnight Sleep Well for today's showcase to show you guys how many stacks Jiaoqiu can allow Acheron to get to show off this pretty cool synergy. And then of course we have Gallagher and Pela just as some pretty nice 4-stars that we can use. So right off the bat, we're just going to be using our techniques to start off the fight. We're going to use Jiaoqiu's technique for the field right here, and then Pela's going to use her technique, and let's get straight into it. With Pela, we're going to skill to ensure that we get enough energy for her ultimate right here. And then with Jiaoqiu, I wanted to really show you guys his kit in particular. So when we use his skill, as you guys can see at the top of the screen, the enemy has one stack, which this one stack is Ashen Roast. And every stack of Ashen Roast will actually increase the damage received by the enemy by an additional 5% from the initial 15%, as you guys can see. Plus, Ashen Roast will actually consider the enemy burned as well. So this will also count as a form of damage over time. So what we're gonna do is use our skill right here. Boom, and now the main enemy actually has 3 stacks of Ashen Roast. If we take a look real quick, here we are, 3 stacks, but the enemies adjacent only have 2 stacks. So the reason that this is that Jiaoqiu's talent will allow his basic attack, skill, or ultimate to have a 100% base chance to inflict 1 stack of Ashen Roast onto an enemy whenever he attacks them. And then if we look at his skill will actually have a base chance to inflict 1 stack of Ashen Roast on the primary target, which is essentially the main target you end up hitting, which can actually allow you to get 2 stacks by only using his skill onto one enemy. And what's even better is when you use his ultimate, which I'll let you guys see this really cool animation, he is literally cooking them.
I said let him cook!
Literally let him cook, because that is what he's doing. And I love the face he makes during this ultimate. It's super cool. If we look now, the enemy has 4 stacks of Ashen Roast, so they did gain another one from the ultimate. But now if we look, every enemy has 4 stacks of Ashen Roast. They're literally getting cooked at this point. And now we have our field as well, which what's really cool about Jiaoqiu's ultimate is 1, it only costs 100 energy, which is freaking awesome. And 2, he will actually set the highest number of Ashen Roast stacks onto every enemy, which means if one enemy had 4 stacks on them, now every enemy has 4 stacks on them. And for 3, enemies will also receive 15% increased ultimate damage, which is really good for a character like Acheron and other characters as well that have very powerful ultimates. And then during this field, each time an enemy's turn comes up, there's a 60% base chance of them being inflicted with 1 stack of Ashen Roast when taking action. And while the zone exists, this could be triggered up to 6 times, which this zone will last for 3 turns, and the duration will decrease by 1 at the start of his turn. That's something to keep in mind. But what's really cool is that there is a way to guarantee that he has a 3-turn ultimate, so this will ensure that the field gets replenished so you can inflict those Ashen Roast stacks when enemies' turns do come up, which I'll show you guys just in a second here. And then also being able to have the increased ultimate damage as well. So that's really cool. I think that's awesome that his kit has this. And what we're going to do is now reduce the defenses of the enemies here, and we're just going to use an Acheron ultimate right away, which if we look at the main target here, they have 4 stacks of Ashen Roast, and also they have 15% increased ultimate damage taken. And then we also have defense reduction, ensnarement, and then also expose, which is Pela's ultimate. So we have a lot of debuffs going on, and we're just going to be able to deal a bunch of damage. Boom, almost 1 million. Holy crap, that is really good. And we only have Goodnight Sleep Well equipped, which is awesome. And all our characters actually have 4-star light cones equipped, so this is really cool. And now what we're gonna do, we're just gonna focus on hitting this enemy once again. Hopefully they don't. Please put Gallagher to sleep, or like pretend sleep. No, I wanted them to attack Gallagher, because if Gallagher gets hit, oh wait, never mind, we're out of sleepy mode. If Gallagher gets hit, because of how much effect res he has, yeah, he has 99% effect res, he is not going to get hit with that sleep. Like, he is not going to go to sleep from that lady. So what we're going to do though is just use our skill with Pela, just so we get more energy for her ultimate. With Jiaoqiu, we're just gonna basic attack here. And as you saw when his turn came up, he lost one of the little diamond looking dots above his health bar. So now there's only 2 turns left of duration for his zone. So what we're gonna do is break the enemy on the left right here, use Gallagher's ultimate. And we're gonna go wha-bam! Punch them right in the face. We can even out the Crimson Knot. We could do 6 and 3. So there we go. And now Acheron has her ultimate. And what I'm going to do is actually attack with Pela. So she gets her ultimate. And we're just going to clear out this wave real quick. So a bam. And boom. So now that we're going into the next wave, we are going to be able to have Pela's ultimate ready to go. What's really cool is we went into this next wave. Our zone is still active and they already have 5 stacks of ashen roast on them, which is so freaking good. The reason this is because of his trace right here, which is when the zone exists, enemies entering combat will be inflicted with ashen roast, and the number of stacks applied will match the highest number of ashen roast stacks by the enemies in the previous wave. So if one enemy had 5 stacks and we go into the next zone, now all enemies right away have 5 stacks, which means Jiaoqiu basically has a way to have very high uptime on his debuffs, if not throughout the entire fight. You just set it up during wave 1 and you're good to go as long as this zone stays active, which is literally so freaking strong because we're going to be able to take advantage of the increased damage received by enemies throughout basically the entire fight. So what we're going to do is we're just going to skill on the enemy to the right. I do want to get more Crimson Knot stacks on them. And then with Pela, we can use our ultimate right here. So there we go. Reduce their defenses and we can just keep attacking this enemy here. Oh no, we didn't ensnare them. Oh my gosh, it's okay. We're going to attack them here. So they're going to use their little drink. Hopefully, please try to put Gallagher to sleep, please. What the frick? Why is... Okay, never mind. Pela woke up. Why do they keep doing that? They keep freaking punching my Pela in the face. They're like, okay, you're gonna go to sleep and now we're gonna freaking punch you in the face. They're so mean. Oh my gosh. Okay, Jiaoqiu's ultimate is gone, but not to fret. What we're gonna do is use our skill here and we have enough energy already and we're gonna reactivate that ultimate immediately. So there we go. The zone is back. And what's really good is that we take a quick look. Now for Jiaoqiu's zone, we did replenish it. So now it says while the zone exists, this effect can be triggered up to 6 times in relation to enemies receiving an ashen roast stack when taking action. So that got replenished. So we're good to go on that. And then we have the exposed debuff from Pela, which is defense reduction. Then the increased ultimate damage, the ashen roast stacks in general, which increases the damage received. And then also the old type res reduction from Acheron. So we're just going to be able to deal a good amount of damage here. Bam. There we go. What we could do is still focus on this enemy here. Actually, I really should have just skilled there. I'm not going to lie, but it's okay. We're good to go. And then the turbulence is going to come in. Awesome. And then, oh my God. Oh my God, my Pela. Please, Pela, please. Oh no, my Pela. Oh no, is it Jover for Pela? Please don't say it's so. Please don't say it's so. Okay, we're gonna break. Please, Pela, please, Pela, please. Oh, we'll be right back. Okay, we're about to be back where we were before. So now we're on to the second wave here. And we're going to right away just use Pela's ultimate. So there we go. And oh my gosh, I hope they don't do the same thing to Pela again. That was horrible. Okay, so with Jiaoqiu, we could just use our skill right here. And now with Gallagher, I just want to wither down the toughness meters of all the enemies a little bit. We're gonna do that. Okay, please don't put Pela to sleep. Please. I swear, it's like a canon event for Pela to be put to sleep and for them to be like, okay, we're just gonna hit you in the face now. That's so rude. And now for Pela, what we could do is just use her skill. We're gonna save her ultimate though, because if I'm not mistaken, the enemies should still have exposed. Okay, they'll have it for one more turn. So we'll just replenish it in a little bit here. So there we go. And now with Jiaoqiu, we could just use his basic and we have our ultimate ready to go so we can replenish our field. So there we go. Okay, we could break the enemy in the middle. Oh no, not the wind shear. Ah, okay, we can now reapply the ultimate with Pela right here. So there we go. And we could just use our skill. With Jiaoqiu, we could just use a basic attack. Oh my gosh, I want to break this enemy. I really do. Okay, we're just gonna break them. Yeah, just so that can come in. And now with Acheron, we can use our skill. There we go. And now there's only 1% left, which is really good. I actually just want to heal Pela. I'm like so scared they're like gonna murder her. So I really don't want that to happen. Now use your skill, and there we go. Okay, now they're all dead. And now we're on to the second health, which all of our health is pretty good right now. So we should be doing pretty good. Yeah, all of our health bars are pretty good. We are going to get attacked. And now with Gallagher, I'm just going to come right in. Just get us some more health. And then we could just break this enemy in the middle because this enemy is so annoying to deal with. Okay, we can use Acheron's skill right here. All right, so now we're going to use Pela's ultimate. So there we go. Okay, we're going to break the enemy to the left, which is really good. There we go. And will this be enough damage? Please. Oh my gosh. No! Why are Crimson not stacks like this? I hope it's enough. Let's do it in normal speed. Oh, I think we did it. What? Bam! Screw you guys for freaking putting my Pela to sleep and then literally killing her. We did it in 2 cycles. And right away, I'm just going to show you guys the builds. We were still holding all of our 4-star light cones, as you guys can see. And let's just go over the builds now because, oh my gosh, I feel so bad for Pela. Those enemies are really annoying to deal with if you don't like weakness break them really fast, because the moment they put your allies to sleep and then that enemy just ends up attacking them as well, it could definitely deal a good amount of damage for sure. Let's just go over our builds real quick. So this is my Acheron for today. She has a lot of crit rate and a lot of crit damage, since that's what I primarily focused on when it came to the relics. And then with her light cone, we're using Good Night Sleep Well, which is a really nice 4-star alternative if you do not have her signature light cone. And I wanted to show this light cone in particular because this Acheron is actually E0. So she is E0, S0. She doesn't have signature light cone and she doesn't have any Eidolons. And the reason why I wanted to use this Acheron in particular is just to show how much Jiaoqiu can help contribute to how many stacks Acheron will get, which was definitely a good amount. And of course, Pela was also helping as well as Gallagher, so that was really nice. For the light cone though, if you do not want to use Good Night Sleep Well, here are some alternative light cones you can use, including of course Acheron's signature. For traces, Acheron is maxed out. For relics, here are Acheron's relics. We can go through them real quick. Definitely aiming for a lot of crit rate and crit damage, but if your crit rate and crit damage is a bit lower, that's perfectly fine. And then with Pela, here is our Pela for today's video. Here are her stats. For the light cone, we are using Resolution Shines as Pearls of Sweat, but if you don't have this light cone, here are some alternatives on screen now. For her traces, they are maxed out. For her relics, we're using the Sprightly Monwax set as well as Eagle of Twilight Line. The reason I'm using Eagle of Twilight Line is specifically so that after Pela uses her ultimate, she will be able to advance herself forward, which can assist with getting more stacks for Acheron, as Pela will be able to act sooner. And this will also allow Pela to have a higher uptime on her ultimate, since what I would do is just wait until those turns would run up on the exposed status from the ultimate and then immediately use her ultimate again, just so the enemy still has that defense drop on them, so that whenever Acheron does attack, we do have that defense drop on the enemies. But if you don't want to use these relics, that's perfectly fine. Here are some really nice alternatives on screen now. And if we were to go through Pela's relics super quick, and then for her Eidolon, she is E6, which by the way, if you do use the Sprightly Vonwax set and the Eagle of Twilight Line set, you do not need 160 speed. You could definitely be around, I would probably say the 140s would be really good. So the speed is a little overkill on this Pela, but I just wanted her to be able to basic attack and skill pretty often, just so she can get Acheron more stacks, and of course make sure that she has a really high uptime on this ultimate here. And now we have Gallagher, which here are his stats. We are using the What is Real light cone just so Gallagher has a bit more sustainability for himself, as well as increasing his break effects, because I did want him to have the maximum amount of outgoing healing, as well as if he does end up breaking an enemy, I would like him to deal a decent amount of damage when he does do this. So that is why we're using this light cone today, but here are some great alternatives on screen as well that you can use for your Gallagher. For his traces, they are maxed out. For the relics, we are using Passerby Wandering Cloud and then the Forge set. The Forge set is just really nice in this particular situation because all the main enemies we were fighting were fire weak. So here are also Gallagher's relics. And then for his Eidolons, he is E6. And now we have our super cute pink Foxy and Jiaoqiu. So here are his stats. He does have a 162 speed as well as 142 effect hit rate. I would personally try to get a bunch of speed on him because he'll be able to inflict Ashen Roast very frequently onto enemies to make sure that Ashen Roast remains onto them, especially if you have the ultimate active as well, or rather the zone. This helps as well. And for his skill, of course, I want to use that, and then his basic attack. And he actually is guaranteed to have a 3-turn ultimate if you use an energy regeneration rope on him. The rotation would end up being using his skill, his basic attack, and then his skill again. This will be able to get you enough energy for a 3-turn ultimate, which means you will always be able to replenish your zone when you need to, which is awesome. And I would also recommend doing 140 effect hit rate or more, just so that he, of course, is able to get the Ashen Roast with the ultimate, since this will only be a 60% base chance in comparison to the 100% base chance from his skill. So that is something to keep in mind with his ultimate. But for his talent, for every 15% of Jiaoqiu's effect hit rate that exceeds 80%, additionally increases his attack by 60% up to 240%. So ideally, you'll want 140 effect hit rate to be able to get the most attack possible from this trace, which is why on my current build, I actually do have 140. For his light cone, we are using Eyes of the Prey because this will be able to increase the damage over time as well as his effect hit rate, which are both pretty valuable for him. But if you do not want to use this light cone, here are some really nice alternatives on screen, including his signature light cone. For his traces, they are maxed out. Here are his relics. We have a bunch of speed substats, which is the goal, as well as also effect hit rate. For Jiaoqiu though, if you do have lower speed, that's perfectly fine. I just wanted to build him as a higher speed supportive character, which worked out pretty nicely as he was able to ensure that Ashen Roast was always on to the enemies throughout the entire fight without it going away, as Ashen Roast will only last for 2 turns, but because of his skill kit, he will be easily able to consistently reapply it onto enemies. And then if you have that 3-turn ultimate, you'll be good to go on the zone as well. So it's just really handy. Plus, if you actually use a light cone like Resolution Shine as Pearls of Sweat on Jiaoqiu and you are able to still have enough effect hit rate on him through potentially your relics, then that can actually be a really nice option if he is on the faster side, because now he'll also be able to reapply the ensnared effect very often as well. So there's definitely really nice options you can use with him. I did show you guys the stats, but here are some nice alternatives that you can use as well. And then for his Eidolons, he's completely E0, as you guys can see. So overall, I would say this team performed pretty nicely, aside from the fact that my Pela got freaking beat up. Unfortunately, poor little thing. Oh my goodness. But other than that, the team performed very well. I feel like this team is actually pretty nice. I feel like for a 2-cycle clear with only 4-star light cones, that's pretty good in my personal opinion. So I feel like the performance of Jiaoqiu alongside Acheron is really nice because of the fact that his Ashen Roast stacks will just be able to give her so many stacks for her ultimate, especially if there are more enemies on the field that do take action. Overall, his skill kit synergizes really nicely with hers, especially because he will be able to increase the ultimate damage enemies take, as well as just the overall damage they take as well from the increased damage received from his Ashen Rose stacks. So I personally love the synergy between the two, and I'll also be showcasing him with other team comps as well, because there are some pretty cool synergies that you can use with him in particular. And for alternative characters you can use, in the case of Gallagher, you could just use a sustain character. Let's just say you use a preservation class character. A really nice option could of course be a character like Aventurine, and I personally really recommend Gallagher though, just because of the fact that he will be able to debuff enemies with his ultimate and then also his enhanced basic attack. So if you do have him, he's a pretty nice 4-star option. But I would also say Aventurine is also a really good option as well. You could also consider a character like Japard. He can freeze enemies, which can assist with getting Acheron a stack. So there's definitely multiple options you could do for your sustain. You can use a character like Fu Xuan to give the team more crit rate, which can assist primarily for giving Acheron more crit rate, which is pretty beneficial so she can crit more often. And then if you are thinking about what if an alternative for Pela, let's say you don't really want to use Pela, you could actually use Jiaoqiu and Sparkle. That is a really nice synergy as well, because Jiaoqiu will be able to increase the damage that Acheron deals, and of course Sparkle synergizes nicely with Acheron due to the fact that you will be able to easily run attack boots without any issues. And also, if you are lacking the crit damage stats, you will be able to get a lot of crit damage from Sparkle as well. So Sparkle is a pretty nice synergy in my personal opinion, and there's definitely multiple options you can use. If you don't want to use Pela, you can consider another Nihility, so it's ultimately up to you depending on how your roster is looking, but there's definitely alternatives that you can use if you don't want to use Pela or Gallagher. I just wanted to show these two 4-stars off alongside this team, just to give you guys an idea of how this team would perform if it was a little more on the budget side of things rather than, I guess, fully decked out with like premium light cones or premium units, for example. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video though. If you did, do make sure to subscribe, leave a like to support the video, and let me know if you guys are potentially considering pulling Jiaoqiu, or if there's any showcases you want me to do with him as well. I would love to show them off for you guys, so be sure to let me know. I hope you all have a great one like always. Peace.